Friends, we are back, and today we're going to be asking one of the most important questions, I think, for this season that people may be asking, and that is, should I buy a house right now? Let's get into it. So, like many other people in the US right now, you may be struggling with this question, should I buy a house? The environment is nuts. You may be going up against 20 other people in trying to bid for a property that you like. It's a terrible time, it feels like, a very unique time at least, to be in the real estate game. And so we want to talk through a couple scenarios, the good, the bad. Again, I'm Scott. I'm a side hustle specialist. We have Steve Graver with us today, who is your go-to for real estate investment, as well as David Stroud. And again, David is going to be your go-to to figure out how to get the money that you need for these kind of investments. So let's talk through a little bit on where we are finding ourselves here in May of 2021. Basically, housing prices have just been skyrocketing for over a year now. And we're basically finding people with the ability to potentially buy a home, but with lower interest rates. Maybe they just sold a house and they're sitting on cash. But unfortunately, we have incredibly low inventory. And so in places here like Colorado, prices have just absolutely skyrocketed because, again, supply and demand chain. So I have an interesting friend who's walking through a scenario right now where he sold his home a year ago. And he was sitting on this big pile of cash, super excited because he was going to buy something new. And as he began looking around, he started getting really frustrated because his dollars at that time weren't going to buy what they could when he first bought his other house. And so again, he's looking around, he's kind of finding things that he kind of liked, but didn't actually purchase anything because he just felt like stuff was overpriced. Well, fast forward a year later, all of those houses have just skyrocketed, and his cash is no longer worth anywhere close to what it was worth. So again, super frustrated. He's feeling like he missed out. And he's kind of wondering, well, what do I do? Do I just completely overpay right now? So again, what we find ourselves in is a situation where the water level has been rising and rising and rising. That cash that he was holding on to has been basically a big weight around his neck, slowly dragging him down as the water level rises. Whereas if he would have purchased something back then, it would have given him a boat to at least rise with the water level right now. So what's going to happen? Are we seeing new norms? Should somebody buy in this environment, even though they may be bidding a ton of money over asking? David, what do you think?
I think that rates are still really low. They've gone up a little bit since their all-time low, but they're still really low. And so if you're looking to buy a house, you can still get a really good interest rate on your home. But again, this is not an investment as much as it is a place for you to live, although maybe it can be both. So it's not like buying stocks or bonds. This is a place you're going to live. And so you need to be able to find a home that meets that criteria. And if you find the home that is in the neighborhood that you like, that's near the restaurants and the other community centers and schools that are important to you and your family, then I don't see a reason why anyone would want to wait. I think that you should put your best foot forward and buy that home, because home prices are not expected to go down for, according to some people, at least 10 or more years before we see home prices start to drop. Now, that's, of course, an estimate, but we don't know for sure. But what we do know is if you want to buy a house, if you want to have a lifestyle that you enjoy, then I say, why not move forward on that lifestyle? And if it means you have to pay a little bit more than you want, maybe that's okay, because you're going to be able to get the lifestyle that you want. And there's different tools available that can help people to do that. But when it comes to a housing bubble, yeah, I don't think we're going to be in any sort of housing bubble per se as a nation, but you want to make sure that you're not bidding or offering too much, because you could potentially put yourself into an individual housing bubble, so that when you do need to sell or just choose to sell your home, hopefully you're going to be able to get some more cash in your pocket for the next stage of life.
Yeah, again, I think there's multiple scenarios that people need to look at. Is this something for you that you're going to be planning routes, you're going to be staying a long time? It's actually worth paying a little bit of a premium right now because it gets you into a place where you can set those routes. And the value, again, at this point in time, it feels like within a year, people are gaining back even that 10% overvalue that they've been paying. So, again, it may not be, even though you feel like you're overpaying, it may not be even a bad investment at this point. What about the investor? Steve, you are working with real estate investors all the time. You really see a lot more of these scenarios. Give us a little bit of your ideas on what it looks like for investors right now. Should they be buying?
I think it depends. I think the flip market right now is kind of an iffy thing for those people that are wanting to flip, and the reason is because of I mean, there's a lumber shortage. If you go to even a Home Depot, you talk to people, or if you go to Lowe's, wherever it might be, or any hardware store, you're finding the supplies are being diminished. So we're having a shortage, which is making it kind of tricky here, especially if you've got a hard money loan that is like a short-term loan that you pay a really high interest rate. It could be really devastating if you get yourself caught in that. But having said that, still think you're still seeing investors making moves. And the reason is kind of like you both brought up here is that, because if we expect the market to continue to go up with supply and demand issues and all that, you could actually be gaining back, like I said, in a year or even 6 months, what you may have, like you said, pay 5-10%, who knows, over what the asking price is. But look at it a year from now, you've actually gained a lot back, and there's still such a demand out there. Somebody wants your product. So anyway, you have to weigh those things out. Again, just be very careful with the kind of supply shortage. I've known some contractors that are just buying up a lot of materials, just not knowing what's going to happen with a shortage. So anyway, just be wise with it. It always comes down to the numbers. But again, I still think, it's kind of timing the market and timing the market as well, especially if you're going to buy is for long haul and you're going to get renters in there. Look at the cash flow. There is such a demand for renters too. So investors, take advantage of this time as well. I think it actually, and some people have said this could be the year of the decade of the century. This could really be a great time to be able to buy while interest rates are low, like David said.
So again, like as a flipper, if that's somebody's side hustle, you mentioned basically all of the supplies are in really short demand. I mean, is there a scenario where somebody should not be buying flips right now because they work with contractors? What do you think?
Well, I think, you just have to be very careful. I think, look at the numbers. Always check the numbers out. Does it make sense? Make sure you have your contingency plans in place to make sure that that it's the right fit. Just do all your research ahead of time. If you do your due diligence, know where you're buying, how you're buying it, and look at all these worst case scenarios. Let the numbers shield you. I think you can buy in any market and do well. So there's always people say, the market's bad. No, it's, if whatever you do on this side, you'll be on that side. Yeah, I think for the most part, don't be scared. As Warren Buffett said one time, he says, when people get greedy, be fearful. When people are fearful, get greedy. So there are opportunities right now. I don't know if I would say don't get into the market investing. I'd say take due diligence, but move forward with this.
Yeah, and I think we're huge advocates of doing due diligence, plan, talk to the right people. Again, myself, Steve, we're available if you guys want to talk real estate. We can help run numbers for you. You really do have some access to us. If you guys reach out, we'll put some links in the description box below. If you're interested just in your ability to buy right now, like how can I get the right kind of loan? This is where David is going to come into play. He has got some really cool mortgage hacks that he can actually walk you through. Again, we'll put his information in the description box below. Again, friends, don't let fear control you. I think that's one of those things that people are buying too much, too soon, because they're fear of missing out, right? So don't let fear control you. But on the other hand, do your due diligence. Make sure that you can afford these kind of things. We really, on this channel, we're about putting more money in your pockets and not pushing you guys into something that is going to be hurtful to you. So anyway, I hope that's helped. Again, those are just some of our thoughts here around in this area. Stay tuned, because actually in a upcoming video, David is going to walk us through some scenarios, and even in this environment, how he's helping people win bids when they want to buy. So we'll look forward to doing that. Until next time, friends, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button if this has helped. Hit the subscribe button, bell notifications, and we'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks.